Florida's governor, Ron DeSantis, is facing quite a bit of backlash after it was shown that brazen corruption is what motivated and fueled his decision to have a grocery store chain known as Publix distribute the coronavirus vaccine. Now, Publix, as much as I hate to admit it, is a lovely establishment. I have been to one myself and their sandwiches are delicious. They also have pharmacies there, which is how the vaccine would be distributed. But the real question here is, why did the governor decide to go with Publix? It couldn't be because of massive campaign donations by people associated with that fine organization, right? Well, we'll give you the details. DeSantis announced in January that Publix would distribute coronavirus vaccines through their pharmacies. The chain received almost 1 in 4 of all Florida shots, according to local media. Distributing vaccines is lucrative as well. Under federal guidelines, Publix, like any other private company, can charge Medicare $40 a shot to administer the vaccine. So Publix is like, yo, we want in on that. And so in the weeks leading up to his decision to go with Publix, there was quite a bit of donations, campaign donations and contributions given to Ron DeSantis. Campaign finance records show that weeks before the governor's announcement, Publix donated $100,000 to his political action committee. Friends of Ron DeSantis, and friends they are. Julie Jenkins Fancelli, heiress to the Publix fortune, has given $55,000 to the governor's PAC in the past. And in November, Fancelli's brother-in-law, Hoyt Barnett, a retired Publix executive, also donated $25,000. And so I don't know, Francesca, maybe we're being a little too harsh and maybe we're being too speculative, but I would argue that legalized bribery usually leads to things like sweetheart deals and the types of contracts that Publix got to take advantage of here, essentially exploiting a global pandemic for not personal, but corporate gain.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, DeSantis is first of all, he does not take the COVID, what are we in? A pandemic. Doesn't take it seriously at all, hasn't taken it seriously, put the market first. And so it is exactly what you would expect from a Republican, that once there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, once there's a little bit of a solution, it's like, how can we use this to my advantage? And so, I mean, I'm sorry for your sandwiches, but I'm glad to know it wasn't the sandwich makers who were lining the pockets of DeSantis. We stand by sandwich makers at Publix, but so gross, just so abhorrent that this is what it has come to. And also, I think leaving it to the states, and depending on whether you're lucky enough to have a governor who minimally cares, in which case the best you're gonna do is Newsom, and that's pretty bad. No, like the rollout has been so patchwork. And I think when it comes to public health, we really need to rethink what the hell we're doing. I'm sorry, why am I doing this in the second hour? Just gonna be punny.
No, I mean, but you're absolutely right. I mean, when you're dealing with a global pandemic, something that actually requires collective action in order to combat it, having this catastrophic, decentralized approach that's based on a profit motive doesn't work. And that's why the United States has not fared so well, especially compared to other countries like Canada, for instance, some of the Scandinavian countries that we talk about so often. That's not to say that other countries haven't maybe made some mistakes, but overall, the driving force behind our pandemic policy has been profits, really. I mean, I didn't even realize that these pharmacies could charge $40 per shot to Medicare. I mean,
that is the key thing of this story, because it isn't
exactly
just right. It's not just, hey, give us, sort of the lock on the vaccine so that people come into the store, whatever we administer it, they buy things. It's, oh no, it's a Medicare grift. Just like there've been many Medicare grifts, but it's essentially just gouging taxpayers, which once again, right, Anna, I had no idea that like Medicare was being charged for the administration of the vaccine.
Well, Florida does have a long history of this type of activity. So for instance, I don't know if you remember, but a few years ago, several years ago at this point, they had passed a law that would force anyone who needed help, anyone who needed to tap into the social safety net, they would need to take a drug test first. And at first it seemed like it was just a way to demonize the poor. And to be sure, that was certainly part of it. But the governor at the time, Rick Scott, owned a drug testing facility that could charge the state's Medicaid in order to basically like rip off the taxpayers and make money off of drug testing people who are in need of government assistance. Like that's what's been going on in Florida, though. That's what's been going on in Florida. By the way, that guy is now a United States senator. Like it's just so depressing. But I'm not even done with this story. There's another twisty twist because 60 Minutes tried to get an interview with DeSantis. He refused, but they did one of those ambush interviews. We can't play the video due to copyright issues, but the important thing is they asked about this bribery taking place behind the scenes, legalized bribery, but still bribery. And this is what DeSantis said. That's a fake narrative. I met with all the folks in Palm Beach County and said, here's some of the options. We can do more drive-through sites. We can give more to hospitals. We can do the Publix. Okay. And they said, we think that would be the easiest thing for our residents. Well, Melissa McKinley, she is the county commissioner in the Glades, told 60 Minutes that the governor never met with her about the Publix deal. So he's lying, and none of this should be shocking to you guys at this point. If you live in a rural part of Florida where you don't have access to a Publix, you're in trouble because you might have to drive out 25, 50 miles just to get the vaccine. And obviously people in rural parts of Florida are at a disadvantage as a result of how this system works. Yeah. So Floridians, I get it. You don't like the others, they scare you, but please stop voting these grifting bandits to represent you because they're stealing from you and they're literally putting you in a bad spot, even in the middle of a pandemic. It's crazy.
Exactly. And if you really hate bureaucracy, forget socialism. Let's say you're not convinced about Medicare for all, you're not convinced about public health care, you just hate bureaucracy. There is nothing more bureaucratic on God's green earth than our private healthcare system, top to bottom. The number of bureaucrats feeding from this broken ass system are innumerable. So you don't like bureaucracy? Then we should have Medicare for all, we should have public health care, and we should cut out these middlemen that are completely leeching off of our own death.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.